Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for another office hours training. I'm Crystal L. Gunn, your financial strategist and small business advisor. And part of what I love the most about being a financial strategist, big on the personal side or the business side, is to help you find your way and to help you have some aha moments, some self-discovery moments, and helping you see what no longer serves you so that you can release it and soar, right? Helping you create the strategy to get to your next level. All of those things help with the breakthroughs. That's where you start to shift. That's where the magic happens, be it in your personal finances or your overall business. So let's talk business basics around business funding or access to capital, and specifically when you have never received any business funding or very little in your business, right? And so I haven't really spoken to my business owners in a while. Thursday is going to be your day. So, although the other information Monday through Wednesday will help as well, Thursdays will be specific for businesses and business strategies, tips, techniques, things of that nature. So, again, let's talk business basics today. Business funding, right? And there's so much out there on the internet about funding. And I know you've heard it, like all you have to do is have a business, an LLC, and you can go to these banks and you can get $50,000, easy peasy, no question. Right. I even have had people come back and say to me, but wait, I keep seeing all of this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, people out there make it a little easier. I mean, because when you think about it, all you need is an LLC and somebody's going to give you some money. There has to be some additional guidelines to that, right? And so one of the guidelines is they're looking at your personal credit as well, right? So you don't have any business credit. So what are they going to do? They're going to look at your personal credit. So again, they make this stuff seem really, really easy. And in some cases, it is easy to get business funding. It's not, you don't always have to jump through 17 hoops. And it can be easy if you and your business are in position to receive funding. Most people want to go get funding, but they are not in position yet in order to do that, right? And so just want to talk about a couple things today, and we'll start talking, or I'll start talking more about business funding, business strategy. And again, I focus really on micro and small businesses. So, maybe, I don't know, less than 20 employees. Doesn't really matter how long you've been in business, because I know some people who've been in business for years, right? Have either never had funding. There are some things that they need to do structural wise. I mean, and they've been successful. So it's not like they haven't been successful, but there are some things missing. And the thing that I always say on the personal side and on the business side, you can't always figure out or see the things that you need to do. Be it you need to switch up your marketing strategy, be it you need a strategy for funding, be it you need to bring in other um, offerings for your business. You can't always see it because you're sitting in the middle of it. You're sitting in the middle of your business, working your business day to day. So you can't always see, other opportunities, other options, other things that you should be doing. You may not know of those things, again, because you're sitting in the middle of your business, working your business every single day. And so having a small business advisor going to take courses and things of that nature helps you because and specific with that advisor, we get to see from the outside in, from the top looking down, and can give you value. I always say I don't care if you make widgets in your business. I don't need to know what widgets are and necessarily what they do in order to be able to help you with strategy and structure and things of that nature to help grow your business, right? So when we talk about getting business funding, right? And I'm going to make this really really simple in this piece so that we're not overthinking it, right? So it's a couple of things that I want you to consider. If you've never had funding before, and mind you, this is specifically for people who've never had any funding before, and this doesn't matter how long you've been in business, because some people have been in business for a while and haven't had any type of funding. Get out of your head that you don't need funding. And I don't care if it's grants or loans or lines of credit. Get out of your head that you don't need funding. Talk about grants on maybe I'll talk about grants next week. But today, again, just some simple things to consider before applying for funding. This is for the company who's never had any funding before, no matter how long you've been in business, or for the very new business. You've been in business, you're brand spanking new in your business. The first thing is, and I don't care what stage you are in your business, is all of your corporate paperwork in place? A lot of times I get um, clients or people coming for consultations, and their paperwork isn't even in place, right? Their business paperwork isn't in place. So, is all of your corporate paperwork in place? So, you have your state articles of organization, you have your EIN number, um, all of that is in place. If there is an operating agreement, if you have an LLC, there should be an operating agreement. So, it's the operating agreement in place and all of those things. Um, there are tons of places in your local area that will help you do those things and get them in place if they are not. Some will offer free services, some offer very small services. There are some, I think online, there's a place now that you can go put your information in and they'll do all of this stuff for you. Very, very easy. You want to make sure that your information is in place. Your corporate information and structure is in place. The second thing I want you to consider is, do you have a business bank account with deposits and other transactions? Like, do you have a business bank account? And not only do you have a business bank account, do you have a business banker relationship? Do you have a relationship with your business banker, right? Because that relationship is going to be key. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit in a few minutes. And then the third thing is, your personal credit any good? What's your personal credit like? When someone sets up a console with me and they want business credit, they want to establish and build business credit. First question I ask them is, how's your personal credit? Right? And why do I do that? Again, there's this misnomer and there's this thing circulating, stuff circulating around on social media that all you need is this EIN number and you can go get some money from these banks. You also need a personal credit number, right? Your personal credit score is important in those qualification purposes, and they want to see over 500, I'm sorry, over a 700 credit score. And just because you have that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get $50,000. You may only get 10. You may only get 20, right? It depends on the guidelines and the underwriting process of that lender, right? So when you see those things, it may say, they probably should say up to $50,000 because everybody's not going to get that, right? So when you don't have business credit established, right? You go into a lender and they want to, even if it's a low doc loan, meaning you don't have to have all of these things, business plans and financial statements and tax returns. So a reduced doc line of credit, I think, is a great way to start. Two great ways that I think that you should start with. A business credit card, they will pull your personal credit to do that. So think about it. You want some credit. You're new to getting credit, whether again you're just opening up today or you've been open. So you're new to getting credit. How do you think they're going to judge how much credit you should get or whether or not you should get any? And so if you can't manage, and I say it all the time, if you can't manage your personal finances, you can't manage your business finances. So now you've set this LLC up, you've gotten this EIN, and you've even opened this bank account. And now you want to go to this bank and you want to ask them for $5, $10, $15,000, right? But you have no business credit history. What do you think they're going to look at? They're going to look at your personal credit first in a lot of instances, right? So if you have really bad credit, collection accounts, low credit scores, they see how you operated in your personal credit. What makes them think you're going to operate any differently in your business credit? How you do one, it's how you do all, right? The way that you operate is the way that you operate, right? So before you even start looking for any business credit, and again, I'm not talking, well, even if that, even if it's, you're opening a restaurant and you got, this great business plan and you got all of these projections and all of this stuff. Still going back, what's your personal stuff look like? Because their personal stuff, your personal history sets a precedent, right? This is how you operate. So go back and look at your credit, your personal credit, and get it where it needs to be. Right? Make sure your personal credit is good. 680, 700. I always say when you're over 700, it opens you up for a whole lot of things. You don't have to be at 8. 8 is great, but 700 opens you up to a whole lot of things because the 800 club is a whole lot smaller than the 700 club, right? So, what's that business credit card? Let them pull your personal credit. And then they'll pull your personal credit, but that business credit card is not going to report to your personal credit. It should report to your business credit, right? And consider a reduced doc line of credit. So a reduced document. What does that mean? It means they're not asking for a business plan. They're not asking for tax returns. They're not asking for projections. In a lot of instances, they're asking for your business bank statements for a certain amount of time. It might be 6 months, it might be 12 months. Typically, they want you to have been in business for 2 years, right? And they're going to look at your personal credit score. So they're looking at your personal credit score. They really want it to be over 700, but they're also looking at the deposits. And that line of credit is going to be based off of deposits that's going into your account. Now, I don't know if I don't know if it's a certain percentage of your average deposit amount. Your business banker can tell you that, right? But it's going to be based off the deposits that are going into your account. So if you have whatever you're using, like if you're selling products, whatever the product is that you're using, I'm sorry, whatever the product or the service is that you're using for capturing payments, should be going automatically into your bank account, your business bank account. And then people are still out there for some reason using Cash App for purchases, especially when they're doing vendor events and things of that nature. So if that's your business, you want to make sure that you're um, making sure that money is going into your bank account on a regular basis, right? So again, business credit card, they will pull your personal credit, reduce document, line of credit. And again, they're going to pull your personal credit. The higher your personal credit scores are, it winds up opening a door for you. And so a lot of times people want this great big amount of money. get what you get what they approve you for, and then you continue to build after that. Because the other thing that you don't want to do is be overextended with credit, because you're gonna have to pay the payments. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to pay the payments. And that's why I like credit cards for businesses and that line of credit for businesses, because you're only paying interest on what you use. And if you have an efficient and effective budget set up for your business, as you should, you're not often carrying balances for months at a time, right? But here's the thing: if you need funding, go to your local banks and credit unions, set up a meeting with a business banker, and ask them about their small business funding products. They're going to tell you, ask what ask what type of products they have, ask what the guidelines are, take notes, write the stuff down. They're going to tell you what it takes for you to qualify. Now you just put the pieces together. So they've given you the puzzle. Now you just got to put the pieces together in that application and apply. Don't just apply first. Go have the conversation and find out what you need in order to qualify, so that when you put that package together, you you fit the guidelines and you'll be able to get the funding that you need. Now, there's also SBA loans. You still have to go through some banking institution, but also look around your community. Go to your city, look around your community, see what other type of funding opportunities are out there. There are some programs and classes that you go through a cohort, and at the end of it, you can apply for funding, or you get funding for it, a lot of times in the form of a grant. But the number one thing that you want to make sure is that your house is in order. So your personal finance, your business documents, all of that stuff is in order, because you know you're going to need that, right? So take a look at those things, and let's talk about my favorite things. My favorite things is your business ready for capital? Things to know before you ask, right? And so I did this again. I create products to help people, because everybody can't get an opportunity to work with me, or just for timing, it's only so many hours in a day. But some people just like to work for things in the background, work in the background and figure things out themselves. So this is, it has quite a few, it's a list. It has quite a few things on the list to consider. Now, depending upon where you are in your journey, in your business journey, kind of depends on which things on this list work for you. Like, you don't need everything on this list to go in and ask for a business credit card. You don't need everything on this list to go and ask for a low doc business line of credit. You don't need everything on this list to go get an auto loan in your business if your business needs a car. Like, you don't need everything on this list. However, when you start to work towards this list and check these boxes off and do the things, it's also making for a stronger foundation for your business. So as you're going through this process, and as your business continues to grow, and as you want to scale, you have these things in place and in order, so that now when you're ready to go get bigger funding or different funding, again, these things are already done. But you don't necessarily need them all to be done in order to get the two things that I talked about: business credit card or reduced doc line of credit. So gives you a list of things you should consider before attempting business funding. On that list also, it's just, again, it's going to be things that, if you have these things in place, your business foundation is stronger. And so, depending upon which type of funding you're looking for, you may not need every item on the list. But if you are just going and want to go get a business credit card, or you want to go get a business line of credit, again, typically you got to have been in business for 2 years. You definitely want to look at numbers 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? But let's talk about next steps with this, right? So we know just like I always say on the personal side, on the business side too, life is about elevation. And so you're going to start somewhere with your business. You're going to build this business. You want to scale this business. I always say start with the end in mind. What's that exit strategy look like? However, um, it's one step at a time, and you keep checking off the boxes, right? And some of my banker friends, right? When I talk to them and we talk about why people don't get the funding, businesses don't get the funding that they need. A lot of instances, it's the paperwork isn't in line, the personal credit because they're new to the thing isn't in line, or they don't want to supply the docs that the lender's asking for in order to approve them for the thing. And they're always going to say, well, such and such and such and such, can come in here and get this funding with nothing. Well, you don't know the process that they went through. And in some instances, that's the truth. However, you have to worry about you and make sure that your house is in order, that your stuff is together, because then if your stuff is together and then you get denied, now you have an opportunity to complain and possibly, sue if you want to. But if your stuff is raggedy over here, you're not going to get anything anyway, right? And so you want to make sure that you have that stuff in line, right? So again, life is about elevation, taking the next step. The journey is key on the personal side and on the business side, because as you're going through these things, you're learning so much about you and you're learning so much about business. Things that's going to make your business stronger, more successful, and be able to weather the storms that come with small businesses just in general. So, what's your homework? Download the Are You Ready for Capital uh, list if you haven't done so. So download Is Your Business Ready for Capital? If you haven't already done so. The link to download is in the description below, and it's under free gifts. So scroll all the way down and then go through the list and see what you have and what you need and work on those items. Again, it doesn't have to be every single item that you need in place before you need funding, right? Remember to go to your local bank, speak with a business banker before you apply to see what they offer and what you will need, and then you work to pull that package together. So you may bank at ABC Bank, but it might be 4 or 5 other local banks in your community. Go schedule an appointment with every one of those local banks, right? And credit unions if they do any type of funding. Different banks have different products. Some banks won't do really small business loans. So some banks might not do business lending under $100,000. If they don't, they're going to refer you to a CDFI that they ultimately fund, but they're going to refer you to that CDFI. You're then going to go to that CDFI and ask them the same questions. How do I qualify? What programs do you have? How do I qualify? Some banks will lend you $5,000, give you a $5,000, $10,000 line of credit, but you gotta go have the conversations with the bankers, because not all banks do business lending the same. You got to go do some recon. You got to ask all of the questions. And then once you know what those qualifications are, and watch this, because you're going to one bank, let's say you're going to ABC Bank, and you get a banker, and that banker at ABC Bank is not helpful. Go to another location of ABC Bank and get another banker, right? They could ultimately have something for you. That person just wasn't helpful, didn't treat you right, whatever. And then make sure you're building your relationships with these business bankers, right? But you want to go and you want to do the research and you want to find out. That is your responsibility. You want to find out what you need to qualify for their programs. Every lender's not going to have something for you. You're going to go and you're going to find the ones that do, right? And I've had people ask me this before, how many business bank accounts should I have? Well, you should bank with more than one bank. right? Like, why wouldn't you? This bank over here may have what you need, but maybe they don't do good in these areas. So this bank over here does really good in those areas. So you have more than one bank account at different banks. That's fine. But go through the list, see what you have or what you don't have, work on the items, and then make sure you go to the different banks, talk to their business bankers, and see what the qualifications are, and then work to make sure you qualify based on those qualifications before you submit an application. And then, if you've done that and you submit an application and they start asking you for documentation, make sure you get them the documentation. If you get denied, you want to know why, right? They're going to send you that generic denial letter, but you want to go back and don't get in your feelings. Go back and talk to that banker and figure out why you got denied so that you can fix whatever the issue is and go back and reapply. And then number 3 on this is just get to work. One thing at a time, cross them off the list. Your business will be stronger for it, right? You got to put in the effort. You got to put in it. No one's just going to hand you anything in this life. So if this information has been helpful, please subscribe to my channel and be sure to turn notifications on so you don't miss a training. Also, if you're in need of personal business strategy, let's talk about it. There are links in the description to be able to schedule consultations with me. Make sure you're clicking on the right consultation link because there are questions that you may have to answer, and it helps me be better prepared and you better prepared for the consultation that we will have. Always, always, always remember, listen, life be out here lifing, doing what it does. And I want you to start looking at things as not necessarily a problem. Life is out here being hard. Life is lifing. Life is teaching you. And it's giving you opportunities to learn and opportunities to fail forward. So you're never really failing. It's a lesson. Your goal is to learn the lesson. Your goal is to never give up on you. Your goal is to take the one step at a time and keep elevating. So always give yourself some grace. You don't know what you don't know, right? Forgive the mistakes that you made in the past. Learn from them, but forgive them and forget it so that you can fix it and move on. Keep striving for your next level of greatness. Keep striving for your business's next level of greatness. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on your business. Invest in you. It is the best investment you will ever make. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time, and I will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Be sure to join me for the private online Q&A immediately following. The link is in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on so you never miss this opportunity. Thank you again, and I will see you on the other side.